Get ready to rev your engines because we're talking about the high-octane world of Formula One. In 2022, Red Bull ruled the racetrack with an astonishing 17 victories out of 22 races, a truly dominant performance that left their rivals in the dust.
Look at the bouncing on the Ferrari, the Red Bull's coming at him, Verstappen goes round the outside, into the chicane.
Whilst Ferrari put up a good fight with consistent pace all season, reliability issues held them back from unleashing the full power of their engine. But it was Mercedes that suffered the most from their failure to adapt to the new aerodynamic regulations. Their radical body design caused major airflow issues that result in a bouncing motion during races. Just imagine a dolphin trying to swim down the track. The team had to invest heavily in the first half of the season to solve the problem, but the damage had already been done. Mercedes, once Red Bull's biggest headache, was knocked out of contention for the 2022 title and left Red Bull to bask in their glory. Now, all teams are gearing up for the upcoming season, ready to make their mark on the track. Will Red Bull continue their reign of dominance, or will Mercedes and Ferrari step up their game to take the lead? Only time will tell in this adrenaline-fueled competition. So it looks like we're in for an exciting season in Formula One. The competition is fierce, and Red Bull is sure to face a bigger challenge from the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes at the top. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at Red Bull's 2023 campaign compared to their rivals. But before we dive in, make sure to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribe. Plus, don't forget, smash the bell icon so you can never miss out on the latest and greatest F1 updates. Right then, let's dive into the exciting world of Formula One and take a look at Red Bull's 2023 campaign compared to Ferrari and Mercedes. At first glance, Red Bull's RB-19 seems to have a similar design to its predecessor, but let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. In the past, teams have been known to present a car totally different from what they initially showed during the car launch. Last year, Mercedes W13 had a side pod design, but they arrived at the season opener in Bahrain with a zero-pod body design. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner also hinted that the car revealed in New York may not be a total reflection of what will hit the racetrack in Bahrain. Despite some whispers from the Red Bull factory in Milton Keynes that the RB-19 has undergone 90% changes compared to the RB-18, they face a bigger challenge in going for a totally new aerodynamic package as their wind tunnel testing time was slashed by 10%. However, the new design is said to eliminate the bouncing effect of the car entirely. Looking on over at Mercedes, they've decided to stick with the zero-pod body design again, but this time it appears to be broader than the previous year. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff said that their 2023 package will be full of surprises and will have delicate upgrades to the aerodynamic department of the car, with the DNA of the W13 continuing further in the W14. So, what does this mean for the upcoming season? We can't predict much before the season opener in Bahrain. However, one thing's for sure, Red Bull will have to face a more significant challenge this year from Ferrari and Mercedes at the top. Mercedes engineers have already shown vast improvement throughout the 2022 season, even winning the Brazilian Grand Prix with Russell and Hamilton taking the 1-2. This creates a bigger threat to Red Bull, who enjoy tremendous freedom out in front in the 2022 season. So as ever, only time will tell who's going to come out on top this year. Red Bull may have dominated the last F1 season, but the Ferrari team started off strong and showed a lot of promise. Unfortunately, they experienced a huge decline towards the end, failing to challenge both Red Bull and Mercedes. So the Ferrari engineers had a lot to solve before the upcoming 23 season, mainly focusing on the reliability of their power unit. But fear not, Ferrari fans. Enrico Cardile, one of the engineers at Ferrari, promised that the 23 car is not only an evolution of last year's car, but a complete redesign. Last year's F175 seemed to be a well-balanced car in terms of aerodynamics, experiencing very little porpoising compared to other teams. The team also maintained the characteristic mouth of the side pods in the 22 design and even raised the vents by 10mm to generate more downforce and increase airflow to the floor. And that's not all. The artistic and deeper set of gills in the upper part of the sidepods in last year's car have been replaced with a much shallower design, aiming for better aerodynamic efficiency. With 4 vents in the hollowed out part of the sidepods and 7 more on the engine cover, the bodywork of the new SF23 vertical wall is so modular that the openings can be modified according to the characteristics and weather conditions of any track. If the power unit plays its role properly, the aerodynamics department is more than ready to hand over a championship to Ferrari for the first time in 16 years. So, buckle up and get ready for an exciting season ahead. Okay, now let's get into the next crucial aspect for each team, the power unit performance. First up, Red Bull has taken over the Honda engines and rebranded them as Red Bull powertrains, while also receiving significant support from Ford. Last year, the Red Bull power units were rock solid and didn't give much of a reason for concern. Although they had some reliability issues at the start with a double DNF at the season opener, the Red Bull engineers put in the effort to fix the problem and develop the engine into a superior state before the engine development window was frozen. With this solid foundation, they're ready to unleash even more power this year. Get ready, F1 fans, because the competition is heating up. On the other hand, Mercedes is ready to deliver 10 extra horsepower this season, which will help them close the deficit to Red Bull in terms of straight line speed. And if the W14 is without any aerodynamic issues, Mercedes will pose a tougher fight for Red Bull, with both Russell and Hamilton ready to challenge Verstappen. Team principal Toto Wolff is confident that with the improvements made to the Mercedes power unit, they could be in the fight for the top of the standings. It's going to be a close race between these two teams, and the margin of error for both will be limited. Are you ready for the upcoming season? Get excited, because it's going to be one for the books. Last season, Ferrari was the only team that could truly challenge Red Bull, but frequent reliability issues ultimately held them back. Ferrari's engine boss Enrico Giultieri stated that reliability was their Achilles heel last season, leading the team to prioritise reliability for the 23 season. The team has focused on engine components, including the assembly process, to ensure a higher level of reliability this year. If Ferrari can maintain that reliability, they will pose a significant threat to Red Bull's dominance. Mercedes has also made improvements, boasting an extra 10 horsepower this season to help them catch up to Red Bull. Toto Wolff, Mercedes team principal, believes that these improvements will put them back into contention for the top of the standings. Red Bull has a lot to defend, but they have a promising new car, the RB-19, and positive feedback from both Max Verstappen and Helmut Marko. Nonetheless, with every team showing significant improvements this pre-season, it's too early to predict the entire season, and Red Bull may face a tough challenge from an unexpected team. The only thing that is certain is that 2023 is shaping up to be an exciting and competitive year. What do you think about the battle between Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari for the 2023 championships? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel to stay in the know of all the exciting Formula One news. F1 Racing Now, your inside track to all things F1.